melanocytes normally live, and nevi, the melanocytes begin to come together and make nests. Those nests are also usually located down at the basal layer, at the bottom of the epidermis. When we start seeing a significant number of melanocytes scattering or spreading up into the upper reaches of the epidermis, into the spinous layer, or even up to the granular layer or beyond, we have to think about melanoma, okay? And we say Pagetoid because it's the similar pattern that we see in Paget's disease of the nipple or an extramammary Paget's disease, where we have malignant glandular type epithelial cells that are scattering and spreading upwards into the epidermis. Also remember that other tumors can have Pagetoid spread. Squamous cell carcinoma in situ is actually the most common tumor that I see in my practice with Pagetoid spread. I see Pagetoid spread in squamous cell carcinoma almost every day. And of course I see melanomas almost every day as well, but it's certainly a lot more frequent, I think, to see squames. Just keep that in mind, that not everything with Pagetoid spread is necessarily melanoma, okay? It's not necessarily even melanocytic. There are other things that have Pagetoid spread. But when we see a melanocytic lesion with lots of scattering of the melanocytes upwards, that's Pagetoid spread. That's a very strong warning sign for melanoma. Now, irritated nevi sometimes can get occasional Pagetoid cells, particularly in the middle of the lesion. But again, like this, it would be. I don't think I've ever seen a nevus that had this much Pagetoid spread personally. And also, the other thing that can be helpful is as you look out to the side of the lesion. Here's the other side I didn't show you before. But if you see Pagetoid spread and scattering of melanocytes, and here we have some right here, some Pagetoid spread right in here, and we're way out at the edge, the periphery of the lesion. So that's also a strong warning sign, okay? So if you think it looks perfect for a nevus and there may be 1 or 2 Pagetoid cells in the middle, well, that might be just an irritated nevus, or acral nevi on acral skin sometimes have Pagetoid spread, and so do Spitz nevi sometimes, and Reed nevi. So again, there are lots of exceptions, but when you see tons of Pagetoid spread, when you see Pagetoid spread at the periphery of the lesion, those are worrying signs for melanoma, okay? And again, that's why I selected this case, because it's unbelievable amount of Pagetoid spread. And you know, one thing I'll point out is, unlike squamous cell carcinoma in situ, even when you have a florid amount of atypical melanocytes and Pagetoid spread, they don't usually fully replace the epidermis. I've seen occasional times where they can almost replace it or kind of consume it with large nests, and but you usually will have them intervened with there's pink keratinocytes in between all of these nests and single Pagetoid cells, okay? And so that's a useful thing, that in squam in situ, you may have areas that look kind of like this, but you'll also have other areas, usually of full thickness epidermal atypia. And that's a useful clue on H&E to tell apart a squam in situ from melanoma, okay? And here again, it's an amazing amount of Pagetoid spread. The Pagetoid melanocytes are breaking through the epidermis here and kind of even coming out into the corneal layer. We don't always see that, but sometimes we do, okay?